Let's start, Elaine, with you. When you're talking to families, what's one big area of their financial thinking or their financial planning where you see a lot of, we'll call it pollution?
Well, first of all, I love the topic. And I was thinking, I mean, as a good financial planner, I'm very structured. So I was thinking, okay, so there are internal and external pollutants, and then they're the ones that you kind of create in your mind.
Oh, nice.
So I see a lot of them, the ones that you create in your mind, because there's some that you can't control, but there's some that you can control. And maybe you think you have them. And as a financial planner, I can think how to, disperse them out of your financial well-being.
Yeah, sure. So the internal pollutants, you're talking about the stuff going on between our ears that's just junk.
Yeah, like the internal ones, I would say, are the ones that you're born with also, that your parents told you that, debt is bad, or money is hard to get, or, limiting beliefs, and things that your spouse says or your kids say. The external ones are obviously the ones you turn on the TV and you listen to, all the ones that are happening that the media sometimes wants you to see that they really don't exist. But the other ones are the ones that sometimes your mind takes all that information and creates them and says, I cannot do this. And yes, you can. With a little bit of information, you can.
I'm thinking there's a big piece. A lot of the pollution is around what mom says, know thyself, right? That we're all looking outward with our money. I'm looking for the best interest rate on a savings account. I'm looking for the best investment for my money. I'm looking for a great tax strategy. It sounds like what you and Paula and Len are saying, it really starts with knowing you.
Absolutely. I think the biggest pollutant, I mean, if we're just like sporadically talking about, things, is when somebody says something and does something else. So I have a client that says, Elaine, I'm going to buy, I don't know, I'm going to do an extension to my home and it's $50,000. But then they go out to eat every day. And oh, by the way, too, they're not fit. So when your goals and your financial actions don't align, that creates stress. And that's like an anxiety inertia cycle. That's what it creates, because then you feel down and have no energy because you can't do this, and then you do it more, and then at the end you don't have that extension to your home. So I'm hearing you, Joe, that you wanted something for the audience to take away, is to make a list. I mean, it's as simple as that, and you can do it on a piece of paper. You don't need a complicated software. Just put it, say what you're doing, where your money's going, and is that aligned to what I want to accomplish this month? If it's not, then how am I going to be able to accomplish it this month, and how much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And as I'm listening to you, Elaine, I think you can just open up your banking app and go back through how you spent money the last month and go, did that serve me or not?
Right. How is this getting me closer to my goal of, I don't know, traveling around the world, or starting my own business, or doing that extension for my kid, an additional room because we need 2 bathrooms. I mean, I actually had a client like that needed 2 bathrooms and needed that. So how is that getting me closer? Is that additional clothes that I'm buying going to get me closer or not? So I think that's the biggest pollutant, when your actions don't align to your financial goals.
Normally, if you're cleaning up pollution, it's going to be individual, right? It's going to be based on that. But let's take the different areas of a good financial plan, the external stuff, and let's start going through those.
Yeah, what about you? We haven't asked you a question. What's the biggest pollutant that you think?
Oh, I think the biggest pollutant for me is what you said about thinking. I think that we think about things backwards. We don't begin with the end in mind. We're so busy. Like I just gave a talk at Camp Financial Independence. And what I saw was a lot of people that wanted to know all these little leaves on the tree, and they weren't focused on the root, which is truly, people like, I'm here for tax planning. And I thought, how do you know what tax plan works for you if you've got no idea where you want to go? And then other people, what's the best investment? Well, what's the best investment if you haven't thought about where you want to go? And so that is for me the biggest pollutant. That earning money. A lot of people focus on the budget, but I think there's also opportunities to bring more income. There's got to be times when you sat down with somebody and you're like, listen, we just got to help you bring in more money in the front door.
Absolutely. And the biggest pollutant for that is your mind. that maybe you think that you can't do it because money is not enough. But if it's so funny because it's a Celestine prophecy, right? If money is not enough and you repeat it enough times, then absolutely it's going to become a reality. So what one should start saying is how this is like a key tip. How can I make enough? Or how can I make $100,000? How can I make abundant money, right? Because not even limit yourself. And most of the time, the solution for it is either more education, certifications, more networking. Not only guide your money to your actions, but also time. I mean, that's the first thing I did when I became an entrepreneur. It was scary. I had a lot of doubts. I didn't have a manual guarantee that I was going to make a lot of money or anything. I mean, the first month when you become an entrepreneur, it's zero. So, you know, from somebody that comes from a W-2 corporate 20-year career, it's scary. So the first thing that one should do is also allocate the time like you allocate the budget of your money. So Paula's point, she was talking about keeping your fix low. Also, keep your fix on your time low. So for example, if grocery shopping is going to take you 2 hours for some weird reason, then do a delivery or go once a week as opposed to go every day. Any other stuff that takes too much time, delegate, subcontract, or make sure that your time is getting to use. And you do that also by, it was a formula, so easy. You calculate how much is your time worth. Know how much your time is valued at.